All right, so personal finance can be a little like wandering through a jungle of numbers sometimes, right?
Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming for sure.
But you've got us. We're your guides for this journey. We're going to help you uncover those hidden gems.
Exactly. We'll be your financial Sherpas.
I love. Okay, so for this deep dive, you sent us this awesome YouTube video, Smart Money Moves,
Yeah,
and
it's a good word.
yeah, it packed with so many great tips and tricks. And our mission today is to really kind of dig into those and see what we can learn together.
Sounds good to me.
What stood out to you when you first watched it?
There's a lot in there, but I think what I like the most is just how practical it was. Like, it gives you really actionable advice.
Totally. I agree with that. It doesn't just talk about like these big abstract concepts. It's like, okay, here are the steps you can take to like actually improve your finances.
Yeah.
Like, for example, that whole budgeting section with the 50-30-20 rule.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
It is a classic, and I think
Mm.
there's a reason for that. It's so simple and easy to remember.
Yeah. It's a good starting point for sure.
It is a good starting point. You might need to adjust it a bit based on your own situation, your goals, what you're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
but it's a really solid framework to start with.
I think people get so caught up in the exact percentages sometimes that they forget what the rule is really about.
What do you mean?
It's about aligning your spending with your values.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, it's not just about tracking where your money goes, it's about making sure your money is going towards the things that are actually important to you.
That's a really great point.
And to do that, you need to know where your money is going in the first place.
Right.
So before you even start thinking about 50, 30, 20, spend a month or two just tracking your spending.
Yeah.
Write it down. Use an app, whatever works for you.
Yeah, I think that's step one for a lot of people, and it can be really surprising too.
Oh, absolutely. You might find out you're spending way more on coffee than you realized.
Or eating out.
Or online shopping.
So many things. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of things that can be eye-opening, let's move on to investing.
Oh, yeah, the big I word.
I know it can be kind of intimidating for people, especially if they're just getting started, but I think the video did a really good job of breaking it down, making it seem less scary.
Absolutely. They started with the basics, which is important, building that foundation.
Yeah.
And I really liked their focus on index funds and ETFs.
Yeah, those seem to be like the go-to recommendation for beginners these days.
They are for a good reason. They're a great way to diversify your portfolio without having to pick individual stocks.
Okay, can we back up for a sec? What exactly is an ETF?
Yeah, so an ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund, and basically it's a basket of securities, stocks, bonds, whatever, that you can buy and sell on a stock exchange just like you would with an individual stock.
So instead of putting all your eggs in one basket with one company's stock, you're spreading your money out over a bunch of different companies.
That's the idea. It's all about managing risk.
Right, so you're not betting everything on one horse.
And the video also talked about taking advantage of retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs.
Especially if your employer offers a matching contribution.
That's free money.
It really is. It's like a bonus just for saving for your future.
And then there's compound interest. The magic of compound interest.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Can turn those small, regular contributions into a huge amount of money over time.
It really is like magic. Imagine this. You invest just $100 a month, and let's say you earn an average return of 7% after 30 years, you'd have over $100,000.
Wow, that's incredible.
And the video gave a similar example. It really highlights the power of starting early.
Yeah, the earlier you start, the more time that compound interest has to work its magic.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point from the video: time in the market, not timing the market.
That's a good one. It's not about trying to predict the ups and downs. It's about staying invested for the long haul.
Consistency is key.
Okay, so let's talk about something that I think a lot of people dread dealing with debt.
Everybody's favorite topic, right?
Not exactly, but it's important. And the video actually presented two main methods for tackling debt, the snowball and the avalanche.
Did a good job of explaining those two.
Yeah, they do. The snowball method is all about focusing on your smallest debts
Yes.
first, just knocking them out one by one to kind of build momentum and that psychological boost.
And the avalanche method is more about attacking the debt with the highest interest rate first, which makes sense mathematically. You're going to save more money in the long run.
I've always wondered, though, wouldn't the motivation from the snowball method, even if it takes a bit longer overall, wouldn't that potentially lead to faster debt payoff in some cases?
That's an interesting point.
Like if that sense of accomplishment, from paying off those smaller debts, if that keeps you going, wouldn't that be better in the end?
I think you're right. There's definitely a psychological aspect to debt payoff that's often overlooked.
Right. It's not just about the numbers. It's about finding a method that works for you that keeps you motivated. And speaking of helpful tips, the video also talked about using balance transfers or personal loans to consolidate high-interest credit card debt.
That can be a great strategy if you do it right.
What do you mean?
Well, you have to be careful. You need to compare all the terms, not just the interest rate.
Like what kind of terms?
Sometimes those offers that seem really attractive, with a low interest rate, they might have hidden fees or conditions that could end up costing you more in the long run.
Ah, I see. So it's about reading the fine print and doing your research.
Always, always read the fine print.
Right. Okay, so now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's really important but often overlooked, the emergency fund.
Oh, yes, that's a crucial one.
It's like your safety net for those unexpected bumps in the road, you know?
Life throws curveballs sometimes.
It does, and having that financial cushion can make all the difference.
Absolutely. Whether it's a sudden car repair or a medical bill or even job loss, having that emergency fund can help you weather those storms without completely derailing your financial progress.
The video recommends having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved.
That's a good rule of thumb, but it can vary depending on your individual circumstances.
Right, like if you have a really stable job and no dependents, you might be able to get away with a smaller emergency fund.
But if your income is unpredictable or if you have a family to support, you probably want to aim for a larger cushion.
Makes sense. And even if that seems like a daunting amount,
Hmm.
the video emphasized that it's okay to start small
Absolutely. Even if it's just $20 or $50 a month, just start somewhere.
and just keep adding to it over time.
And I love their advice about treating your emergency fund like a bill.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Mentally, it shifts it from an optional expense to a non-negotiable priority.
And you can even automate those contributions, just like with your retirement savings. Set it and forget it.
Makes it so much easier.
Okay, so listener, quick challenge for you. What's a small, realistic amount that you could automate every month towards your emergency fund? Even if it's just a little bit, it all adds up over time.
You'd be surprised how quickly it can grow.
Okay, so let's talk about something that I think a lot of people find a little uncomfortable, negotiation.
Yes, it's not always easy.
But the video made it seem so much less intimidating.
They gave some great tips.
Yeah, they did. It was like they were sharing a secret weapon or something.
Like, wow, I can actually use these strategies to get a better deal.
Yeah, exactly.
And it all starts with preparation, doing your research.
That was their first tip, right?
Yes, know your worth and know the market value of what you're negotiating for.
Whether it's a salary discussion or a freelance project or even haggling over a bill.
Information is power.
I love how their second tip ties into that. It's all about framing the conversation as a win-win.
Instead of approaching it like a battle,
Like you're trying to get one over on the other person.
Right, you're looking for a solution that benefits both parties.
Their example of negotiating a cable bill was so good.
Oh yeah, instead of just complaining, you highlight your loyalty as a customer and ask for a better rate.
It's so much more effective.
And it helps to build rapport,
Right, you're not burning bridges, you're building relationships.
Exactly.
Okay, so their final tip was one that really resonated with me, being willing to walk away.
Oh yeah, that's a powerful one.
It's not about being stubborn or difficult. It's about knowing your worth and not settling for less than you deserve.
And that confidence often leads to a better outcome.
It shows that you're serious,
Yeah.
that you thought this through, and you're not just going to accept whatever they offer.
Right.
Okay, so listener, think about this for a second. What's one upcoming situation in your life where you could put these negotiation skills to the test?
Could be anything, asking for a raise, negotiating a better price on a car, even asking for a discount on something you want to buy.
Yeah, the key is to remember those 3 steps. Do your research, aim for a win-win, and be prepared to walk away if needed.
You got this.
Okay, so this brings up something that the video touched on, and I think it's really important: mindset.
Oh yeah, mindset is everything.
It's about believing in your ability to manage your money effectively, to make smart financial decisions.
And realizing that you're in control.
Right. You have the power to shape your financial future.
It's not about luck. It's about making informed choices and taking action.
This video has given us so much to think about already.
It really has.
We've covered budgeting, investing, debt, emergency funds, negotiation skills.
We've hit all the major points.
And it's all about finding what works for you.
Absolutely. It's about taking these principles and adapting them to your own unique situation.
Your goals, your values, your lifestyle.
Exactly.
And speaking of adapting principles, I loved that question you asked earlier about applying these concepts to other areas of life.
Oh yeah, that got me thinking.
Me too. It's like, what if we approach time management like budgeting?
That's a great analogy.
right? Like allocating our hours to different categories based on their importance.
Or using those negotiation skills to communicate more effectively in our relationships.
Aiming for those win-win solutions in every interaction.
I love it. It's like a whole new way of looking at things.
And imagine applying the principle of compound interest to personal growth. You know,
Small, consistent efforts over time leading to significant improvements.
like that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
So true. Whether it's finances or health or relationships, taking action, even small steps, is what matters.
And speaking of taking action, I think one of the biggest takeaways from this video, from this whole deep dive, is that knowledge is only powerful when it's applied.
Absolutely. We can talk about these concepts all day long, but it's up to you, listener, to take these insights and put them into practice in your own life.
It's like we've given you the map and the compass, but you're the explorer. You get to choose the path and chart your own course.
Exactly. And remember, personal finance is personal.
It's not one size fits all.
What works for one person might not work for another. So experiment, find what resonates with you, and don't be afraid to adjust your strategies along the way.
And just like on any adventure, there might be obstacles, you might make a few missteps, but the key is to learn from those experiences and keep moving forward.
And don't forget, you don't have to go it alone. There are so many resources available, financial advisors, online communities, even just talking to friends or family who are knowledgeable about personal finance.
Building a support network is so crucial in finances and in life. And hey, we're part of your network now too.
That's right.
We hope this deep dive has empowered you to take control of your financial journey.
We've equipped you with the knowledge, the inspiration, and hopefully a few laughs along the way.
Now it's time to take that next step and start creating the financial future you deserve.
You got this.
Until next time, happy deep diving.
It really is. It's like, what if we applied those debt payoff strategies to like procrastination?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, what if we used the snowball method to tackle our to-do list? Start with the smallest, easiest tasks first to build momentum.
And then once you've got that momentum, you can move on to the bigger, scarier things.
Exactly.
I like that.
Or what if we use the principle of compound interest to like improve our skills or knowledge?
Oh, I see what you mean. Like small, consistent efforts over time leading to big results.
Exactly. It's like, those little things you do every day, they might not seem like much in the moment, but they add up over time.
They really do. It's like that saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
So true. Whether it's finances or health or relationships, taking action, even small steps, is what matters.
And speaking of taking action, I think one of the biggest takeaways from this whole deep dive from this video is that knowledge is only powerful when it's applied.
Absolutely. We can talk about these concepts all day long, but it's up to you, listener, to take these insights and put them into practice in your own life.
It's like we've given you the map and the compass, but you're the explorer. You get to choose the path and chart your own course.
Exactly. And remember, personal finance is personal.
What do you mean?
Well, it's not one size fits all. What works for one person might not work for another. So experiment, find what resonates with you, and don't be afraid to adjust your strategies along the way.
And just like on any adventure, there might be obstacles, you might make a few missteps, but the key is to learn from those experiences and keep moving forward.
And don't forget, you don't have to go it alone. There are so many resources available, financial advisors, online communities, even just talking to friends or family who are knowledgeable about personal finance.
Building a support network is so crucial in finances and in life. And hey, we're part of your network now too.
That's right.
We hope this deep dive has empowered you to take control of your financial journey.
We've equipped you with the knowledge, the inspiration, and hopefully a few laughs along the way.
Now it's time to take that next step and start creating the financial future you deserve.
You got this.
Until next time, happy deep diving.
Yeah, it really is. I was thinking about it even after we finished recording last time.
Oh, really? What were you thinking about?
Well, you know how we were talking about applying these financial principles to other areas of life?
Yeah.
It just got me thinking about how much of personal finance is really just about mindset?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like if you can master these principles in your financial life, you can probably apply them to other areas too.
I totally agree with that. It's like it's all about building good habits and making smart decisions.
Exactly, and those skills are transferable.
So what are some examples of how you could apply these principles to other areas?
Well, for example, you know how we talked about the importance of tracking your spending?
Yeah.
What if you tracked your time the same way?
Oh, interesting. Like a time budget.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How much time are you spending on work, on leisure, on personal development?
And then you can see where you might be wasting time or where you could be more efficient.
Right. Or you could apply the principle of compound interest to personal growth.
I like that one. So, like small, consistent efforts over time leading to big results.
Exactly, like learning a new language or practicing a musical instrument.
It's all about consistency.
It really is.
Okay. So, to wrap things up, I think one of the biggest takeaways from this deep dive is that knowledge is only powerful when it's applied.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
We've learned so much from this video, but it's up to you, listener, to take these insights and put them into practice.
It's your financial journey.
You're in the driver's seat.
And remember, there's no one right way to do it.
Experiment. Find what works for you, and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
We're all in this together.
Until next time, happy deep dive.